Alright everyone, RJ here. Welcome back to the channel, and today I'll be doing a brief unboxing, taking a first look at the Pixel 8. Okay, so I decided to go ahead and pick up the regular Pixel 8. Now this one here was not sent to me. I actually purchased this one here on my own. Done a trade-in, pre-order. Also got the Pixel Buds Pro. Got these here in the blue, which will actually match up better with the Pixel 8 Pro. So yeah, we were going to have to test these out and all later on and everything. But the Pixel 8, now I'm not going to spend too much time because there's not, a ton of difference, I guess you would say, between the 8 and the 8 Pro. I'm just going to set it up a little bit and kind of just show you how the phone looks and stuff like that. I will give you the specs, and you can kind of compare them with the specs with the 8 Pro. The price difference is $300 for the base price and everything. So, with this one here, I'll leave a link for the Pixel 8 Pro unboxing so you can kind of compare a little bit with the specs and decide if you want to spend $700 for a Pixel 8 or $1,000 for a Pixel 8 Pro. Now, as always, we're going to start off with the display. This phone has a 6.2-inch 1080 by 2400 resolution display with a 20 by 9 aspect ratio with 428 pixels per inch. It is an OLED panel with 120 Hz refresh rate, HDR10+, 1400 nits brightness with 2000 nits of peak brightness. This has Gorilla Glass Victus on the front, Gorilla Glass Victus on the rear, and an aluminum frame. It is IP68 dust and water resistant. Now for the processor, this phone runs the same Google Tensor G3 4nm processor, which is Google's latest flagship processor. You can get this in an 8 gig with a storage of 128 or an 8 gig with a storage of 256. No SD card slot, unfortunately, and has UFS 3.1. Now for the camera, it has 2 on the rear. You got a 50 megapixel wide angle lens, aperture of f1.7, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle lens, aperture of f2.2. You can record at 4K 60 frames per second. For the front camera, you got a 10.5 megapixel wide angle lens, aperture of f2.2. Can record at 4K at 60 frames per second. For the battery, this has a 4575 milliamp hour battery with 27 watt wired charging and an approximate 50% in 30 minutes of charge. 18 watt wireless charging and reverse wireless charging here as well. It does come in 3 different colors: obsidian, hazel, and rose. And some other features like an under display optical fingerprint scanner, face unlock. Of course, you got your Bluetooth 5.3, all that kind of stuff. And like I may mention, Android 14 right out of the box. So we'll go ahead here and pop the top off. And I got the hazel version of the Pixel 8. So we'll take the phone out. And basically all we get in the box is the Type-C to Type-C charging cable, your OTG cable, and your manual. Okay, so we now have phone in hand, and I will say this is a very good size device. Okay, I like the smaller form factor. Now, we are living in a time where everyone wants the 6.7, 6.8 inch devices that comes on the 8 Pro, the Galaxy S series, and other phones. And I do too. For watching content, they're really nice. But if you want something that's going to be compact with really good cameras, really good display, and just premium, I feel that the Pixel 8 is going to be it. Okay, that's just my personal opinion. I like the hazel color. I like the hazel on the 7 Pro, from last year. Unfortunately, they didn't go with the same kind of like gold finish along the camera and the sides, but I like the way the sides look, more of a brushed aluminum look, and that does look really nice. Now, back here, of course, kind of the same, and all. Now, if you look here at the camera hump, it does protrude out there pretty good. You know what I'm saying? You can see it there. And whenever you're holding it like this, you can definitely feel it. But honestly, when you're holding it like you're supposed to hold it, your your index finger just kind of rests up against it, so it's not much of a big deal. It just feels really nice. Okay, now of course on the rear is your dual camera setup with your flash. On the right, of course, is your volume rocker and your power button. On top is your microphone and your antenna line. On the left, of course, you got your SIM card slot, and on the bottom is your microphone, Type-C charging port, and your bottom firing speaker. We'll go ahead and give it a first boot up here. All right, so we got Google there. So I'll go ahead, get it all set up, and I'll come back when it's finished. Okay, so the Pixel 8 is setting up and everything. It's also downloading the October security patch. For some reason, it's on September, just like the 8 Pro was. I'm not really sure why it's not on the October, and everything. But anyway, also, if you're interested in me doing a little comparison, like just what's different, a few little different things between the 8 and the 8 Pro, let me know and I'll see what I can do about that. Now, turning the phone around here, the biometrics on here are really good. I mean, they have really stepped up with the fingerprint scanner. It just unlocks every single time. Also, face unlock works really good. I mean, boom. Optimal conditions, yeah. I mean, face unlock works really good. To me, after using it for a few minutes, before resuming this video, this is like the perfect Pixel. I mean, like I said, earlier in the video, I know we like the bigger displays and stuff like that, but if you're looking for a compact phone, it's going to give you all the AI stuff that this phone is kind of centering around. This is, kind of the perfect phone now, and that's just right out of the box. I really haven't used it, haven't tested out the battery life and all that kind of stuff. So of course, it's going to take a little bit of time to actually sit here and say, oh, this is just first impressions, okay? And after using it for just a few minutes, but we're going to start off this time first with the camera. So we're going to kind of flip it around a little bit here. But the camera, you have 2 cameras on the 8. So you don't have, that extended zoom and all that kind of stuff. But you do got your 0.5 for your wide angle, 2 times. You can go up to 8 times zoom here on this phone. You got your portrait, of course, your long exposure. You got your action pan, night sight, panorama. And into your settings here for photo, you got your night sight, your top shot, your timer, macro focus, 16:9 or 4:3, whichever one you want to do there. Now here in more settings, like basically the same settings you see in a lot of Pixels. Nothing's really changed that much here. Like I said in my previous video with the 8 Pro, I wish they had a watermark instead of having sometimes, to add your own. But they didn't. So, and that's just the way it goes. But let's go into back in here. Okay, we're already there. But now in here goes into your camcorder. Of course, you got your blur in video, your pan in video, slow motion. Now, when you're in video mode, when you're recording, you can actually change your exposure and your white balance as you're recording. But here in the settings, you are able to record at 4K, 24, 30, or 60 frames per second. The same with Full HD. Now, of course, like I said, 4K 60 speech enhancement is unavailable. 30 frames, it is available. Even in Full HD at 60 frames, it's unavailable. So you got to be at 30 frames to use the active stabilization. But of course, at 60 frames, you're limited to the standard stabilization, which is fine. Then you have locked, so you can't, it's just lock stabilization. Your macro focus is on automatic. You can have it on or turn it off completely. So the cameras, looking forward to actually testing these out to see how they're going to do. Cause just from, a few pictures I've taken from the 8 Pro, I'm very impressed. So, but as we go into the settings here, there's really not a lot of difference, okay? You get basically the same thing. The battery is a bit smaller, like what I say, 45, 75, something like that milliamp hour battery. The display is full HD on here, which honestly is not that bad. You know, I mean, full HD is just fine, especially on a 6.2-inch display. It's blurring out a little bit. I do apologize. Not really sure what's going on there with the focusing thing that I'm noticing there a little bit. But when you go into the display, you know, instead of having 90 hertz, now we have 120 hertz here in this. Now, between 90 hertz and 120 hertz, there's not a whole lot of difference, you know. But now, out of the box, this was turned off. I turned it on a bit earlier. But even at 60, I mean, if you want to save some battery life, 60 frames per second, it's not as bad as everyone says it is. I leave it at 120 because, you know, it's just whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, navigation mode, of course, if you want your buttons, they're there. You know, like I said, this phone is really highly focused on AI. Okay, there's a lot to go in with that, and I am not going to go into all of that here in this video. But basically, the pixel settings are basically the same, you know, but just right out of the box. So far, I'm loving the design. I am loving this form factor. It just, look at that. It just looks so good. And I'm really liking it. Okay, so that's just my little, you know, unboxing and just kind of a brief first look there at the Pixel 8. But yeah, anyway, that's all I'm going to say about this phone right now. If it's helpful and informative in any way, hit the like button. Any questions you may have, leave it below. And if you're new around here and not a subscriber, be sure to consider subscribing and turn on that post notification bell. And hopefully you'll receive all videos as I release them. I'd really appreciate it. Y'all have a good one, and thanks for watching.